Alex's moving truck rolled slowly down Maplewood Lane, the sun casting long shadows over the manicured lawns and identical beige houses lined in perfect symmetry. It was the kind of neighborhood that promised quiet afternoons, weekend barbecues, and a life without surprises. Exactly what Alex wanted after years in the city's chaos. But as the truck pulled up to the quaint house with blue shutters and a freshly painted porch, something in the air felt off. The moment Alex stepped onto the curb, a pair of sharp eyes locked onto them from across the street. Gloria, the neighborhood HOA president, was watching. Her lips pressed into a tight line and the crease between her brows deepened. Gloria's reputation preceded her, a woman with an iron grip on the community, quick to enforce the most trivial rule and ruthless toward anyone who dared to challenge her. Locals whispered her nickname behind closed doors, the HOA Karen. Alex tried to smile and wave, but Gloria only narrowed her eyes, the look chilling enough to freeze the summer air. Instead of the warm welcome Alex had hoped for, there was an immediate, icy tension. Later that afternoon, as Alex unpacked boxes in the sunlit living room, a crisp envelope slid under the front door. Picking it up, Alex's stomach tightened. It was an official-looking notice from the HOA, a warning about the mailbox, which, according to Gloria's letter, did not conform to the neighborhood's strict regulations. Alex had barely had time to settle in, and already Gloria was making demands. The letter's tone was polite on the surface, but carried an unmistakable edge. Please rectify this issue within 7 days, or face further action. Shrugging off the note, Alex thought, this is just the beginning. That evening, Alex ventured out to explore the neighborhood. The streets were pristine, almost unnervingly so. Not a single blade of grass dared to grow longer than the HOA rules allowed. But under this veneer of perfection, Alex noticed subtle signs of unease. Neighbors avoided eye contact, conversations hushed as Alex approached, and a few hastily crossed the street. At the local grocery store, a woman in a perfectly starched shirt and tight bun watched Alex from the produce aisle. It was Gloria, unmistakable, even without the heavy HOA badge she always wore. When their eyes met, Gloria smiled coldly, but it didn't reach her eyes. The smile was a warning. Over the next few days, Alex's world shrank. Mysterious notes appeared on the windshield. Neighbors whispered behind closed doors, and every step felt monitored. Gloria's presence loomed like a shadow, her gaze seemingly following Alex wherever they went. One night, as Alex sat on the porch, a car slowly drove past, its occupants' faces obscured by tinted windows. The engine's low rumble echoed unnervingly in the stillness. Alex's heart pounded. Was it just coincidence, or had Gloria's vendetta attracted more than just neighborhood gossip? Alex confided in a friend back in the city, describing Gloria's chilling obsession. The friend laughed nervously. Sounds like a Karen, they said. But maybe there's something more to it. Alex couldn't shake the feeling. Gloria wasn't just an overzealous HOA president. There was something darker hidden beneath the surface. Something that made her dangerous. As the sun set behind the row of perfect houses, Alex stared at the warning letter again, now crumpled in their hand. The neighborhood wasn't the peaceful refuge they'd imagined. It was a cage. And Gloria held the keys. Why did Gloria want Alex out so badly? That question would haunt Alex, a question with answers lurking just out of reach, waiting to be uncovered. The morning after the warning letter arrived, Alex stepped outside to find the mailbox still standing defiantly, just as it had when they moved in. But now it wasn't just a mailbox, it had become a symbol of the brewing battle. Gloria's gaze had followed Alex all morning, sharp and calculating from her usual perch on the neighbor's porch. Almost immediately, the neighborhood's atmosphere shifted. The air felt thicker, charged with quiet hostility. That afternoon, Alex received another letter, this one more urgent. The HOA was demanding a fine for the unauthorized mailbox, citing community standards, and threatening daily penalties if it wasn't replaced. The tone was less polite, more commanding. Alex tried reasoning with Gloria, catching her in the driveway. "Can we talk about this? I want to follow the rules, but I don't understand what's wrong with the mailbox." Gloria's smile was tight, like a trap snapping shut. "Rules are rules, Alex. You either respect them or you don't belong here." There was no room for negotiation, only a cold dismissal. Meanwhile, Alex noticed subtle changes in the neighbor's behavior. The friendly waves from a few days ago vanished. Mail stopped coming through the door. Instead, envelopes slipped under it with folded notices about community meetings and fines, always addressed with formal, distant language. One evening, as Alex walked the dog down the cul-de-sac, a group of neighbors stood clustered near the streetlights. Their faces were tight-lipped, eyes darting nervously whenever Alex approached. Whispers died immediately, and the group dispersed like shadows at sunset. Alex's heart pounded. What were they hiding? Or worse, what had they decided about Alex? Faye, feeling of being watched, grew heavier. Strange sounds echoed late at night. The crunch of footsteps on gravel, faint voices in the dark, a car idling just beyond sight. Once, Alex caught a flash of a face peering from behind a curtain across the street. The face vanished before Alex could react. Still, Gloria's vendetta remained the center of this tightening noose. She organized frequent HOA inspections, each one more invasive than the last. At one check, a neighbor wearing a grim smile pointedly noted a missing flower bed from Alex's yard, a supposed violation. Another time, Alex found a letter taped to the door accusing them of excessive noise, a claim Alex knew was false. The silent war was escalating, and Alex realized the fight was not just about a mailbox or flower beds. Gloria was waging a personal campaign to force Alex out, and she had the entire HOA machinery behind her. Late one night, while reviewing the increasingly threatening letters, Alex's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Stop pushing, or it may. Won't just be the HOA you have to worry about." Alex's fingers trembled. Was this a prank or a warning? Questions swirled. Who was watching? Who sent the message? And why did Gloria care so much about one newcomer? Determined to find answers, Alex began to watch Gloria more closely. The HOA president's carefully crafted image cracked under the surface. Late-night phone calls, secretive meetings at odd hours, and quick, nervous glances at passing cars suggested Gloria's world was more tangled than a petty HOA feud. At a neighborhood picnic, Gloria was overheard whispering fiercely into her phone. "If they dig any deeper, everything falls apart." Alex's curiosity was now a blazing fire. Whatever Gloria was hiding, it wasn't just neighborhood rules. The question was, how deep did the secrets go, and just how dangerous was Gloria willing to be? Alex couldn't shake the feeling that Gloria's obsession went far beyond HOA bylaws. Nights became restless, filled with unanswered questions, and the growing certainty that Gloria was hiding something dangerous. Determined to understand what, Alex turned to the one place the HOA president couldn't control: the internet. It started with simple searches. Gloria's name, her history in the neighborhood, anything that could shed light on the woman who had turned a suburban street into a battleground. Most results were mundane. HOA meeting minutes, community announcements, a few neighborhood newsletter articles praising Gloria's dedication to keeping Maplewood Lane safe. But then, Alex stumbled on something unusual. A decades-old newspaper clipping, archived in a government database, mentioned Gloria's full name in connection with a mysterious investigation. The headline was vague but arresting: "Local Woman under surveillance for national security concerns." Alex blinked, heart hammering. National security? Surveillance. This wasn't just a neighborhood dispute anymore. Scrolling further, the article hinted Gloria had been investigated by the CIA during the Cold War era, suspected of involvement in espionage activities. The details were sparse, as if the government had buried the story deep and left only cryptic breadcrumbs. What was Gloria's connection to espionage? And why would someone with that kind of history be living in this quiet suburb? Alex's mind raced. Could Gloria's paranoia and iron-fisted control stem from a past shadowed by secrets and danger? Was the HOA merely a mask for something far more complex? Suddenly, the house felt colder. The mailbox didn't seem so trivial anymore. It was a symbol, a trigger maybe, for a woman who had been trained to watch and control everything around her. But digging deeper wasn't without risk. A knock at the door startled Alex. Peering through the peephole, there was no one there. Only a plain white envelope lay on the doorstep. With trembling hands, Alex picked it up. Inside was a single card with one chilling message typed in bold letters. "Stop, or the past you dig will bury you." The threat was unmistakable. Gloria wasn't just a strict HOA president. She was warning Alex off, using language that suggested a dangerous knowledge beyond petty neighborhood politics. That night, Alex sat alone in the dim light, the card clenched tightly. The line between suburban normalcy and something far darker blurred. Was Gloria watching every move? Were those strange cars and faces glimpsed through curtains connected to this warning? Determined but shaken, Alex resolved to learn more. The old news clipping mentioned one name repeatedly, a CIA analyst who'd overseen Gloria's investigation. Maybe that person still lived nearby or had left a trail Alex could follow. The next day, Alex visited the local library, digging through microfiche and archives. Hours passed, eyes tired but focused, until a pattern emerged. Gloria's name appeared in classified debriefings, references to deep cover operations, and exfiltration protocols. Her real identity might be something she'd spent a lifetime hiding. Back at home, Alex's phone buzzed again. Another message, this time with a location pin pointing to a rundown building on the edge of town. Meet. Answers await, if you're brave enough. Alex hesitated, knowing this invitation could be a trap or a lifeline. Either way, the stakes had risen sharply. The quiet war with Gloria had just turned into a dangerous game where every move counted. And as the night deepened, Alex realized one chilling truth. In this neighborhood, the past was never truly buried, and Gloria was the keeper of those secrets. The rundown building at the edge of town was the last place Alex wanted to be after dark, but the cryptic message had ignited a fire that wouldn't be doused by fear. Clutching a flashlight and phone, Alex arrived just as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over cracked concrete and rusted metal. The building's windows were shattered, and the door creaked ominously as Alex pushed it open. Inside, the stale air smelled of dust and forgotten secrets. Footsteps echoed faintly in the distance, but no one was in sight. Suddenly, a voice whispered from the darkness. "You shouldn't have come here." Alex's heart slammed against their ribs. A figure emerged, hood pulled low. "Who are you?" Alex demanded, voice steady despite the adrenaline. The figure stepped forward, revealing a weathered face marked by years of worry. Someone who knew Gloria when she was far from this neighborhood, far from the rules and fences you see now. Alex's breath caught. "What do you mean?" The stranger motioned to a battered table scattered with yellowed files. Gloria was never just an HOA president. She was trained, deep undercover. Things happened that changed her, things she's desperate to keep hidden. As the stranger spoke, Alex felt the weight of danger pressing in. The warning cards, the strange cars, the veiled threats, all pointed to a past Gloria was fighting to bury. Days after the visit, the harassment escalated. One morning, Alex's front yard was vandalized with strange symbols spray-painted in black. Symbols that resembled markings from the files they'd glimpsed in the abandoned building. Neighbors watched silently from behind curtains, their eyes flickering with fear or something darker. Complicity. Then came the late-night phone calls. A heavy breathing, static, then silence. One call delivered a clear message. Stop looking, or you won't have a home left to come back to. Alex knew now this was no ordinary feud. Gloria's watchful eyes extended beyond Maplewood Lane, and the past that haunted her was pulling them both into a dangerous spiral. In the days that followed, Alex noticed unfamiliar faces lurking near their house, men and women whose eyes gleamed with cold calculation. Surveillance, they realized. The fight was no longer just for a mailbox or a patch of grass. It was for safety, for freedom. Alex shared their discoveries cautiously with a few trusted neighbors, but most recoiled, unwilling to believe that the quiet suburb masked a spy's shadow. The community seemed paralyzed, trapped in silence by fear or loyalty. Meanwhile, Gloria's grip tightened. She held emergency HOA meetings, citing security concerns to justify increased patrols and surveillance cameras. Her speeches grew more intense, her gaze sharper, as if she were preparing for a battle she alone understood. One evening, while locking the door, Alex caught a glimpse of Gloria speaking urgently into a phone, voice low and furious. If they get any closer, everything we built falls apart. Alex's mind raced. What was Gloria hiding? How far would she go to protect her secrets? As tension mounted, Alex realized the stakes were higher than ever. The war between them was no longer a neighborhood dispute. It was a collision of past espionage and present survival. With every shadow lurking just beyond the porch light, Alex knew one thing for certain. The past wasn't just behind Gloria, it was hunting them both. Alex didn't expect help, especially in a neighborhood gripped by fear and silence. But then Mrs. Langley appeared, an elderly woman with sharp eyes that seemed to miss nothing, a walking contradiction to the quiet, timid neighbor she pretended to be. One afternoon, while watering her immaculate rose bushes, Mrs. Langley caught Alex glancing nervously across the street. She shuffled over, her voice low and steady. "You're stirring up quite the hornet's nest, dear." Alex hesitated but nodded. "I think there's more to Gloria than anyone here knows. Something dangerous." Mrs. Langley's eyes flickered with something unreadable. "I knew Gloria once, long before this quiet street and all the rules. She was different. Part of a world most people don't even believe exists." Curiosity mixed with relief, Alex invited her inside. Over cups of strong tea, Mrs. Langley revealed a life most would never imagine. Before retiring to this neighborhood, she had worked with the CIA, quietly supporting covert operations and analyzing agents, including Gloria. She was an asset, a deep cover operative during the Cold War, Mrs. Langley explained, voice dropping to a whisper. But something went wrong. A mission that shattered her, left her running from ghosts. Alex's mind reeled. This explained Gloria's paranoia, the surveillance, even the aggressive control over the neighborhood. She wasn't just protecting a community. She was guarding a secret too dangerous to surface. Mrs. Langley's gaze hardened. That's why she's so ruthless. The rules aren't just rules to her, they're a shield. Alex asked, "What happened on that mission? Why is she so desperate to keep it buried?" Mrs. Langley hesitated. "There was betrayal, a mole. People died. Gloria disappeared from the agency's radar for years before resurfacing here." As they talked, a plan began to form. A way to expose the truth carefully, to protect themselves and the neighbors from Gloria's wrath. But trust was fragile. Anyone could be listening, watching. In the following days, Alex noticed subtle changes. Mrs. Langley seemed to move quietly through the neighborhood, speaking in hushed tones to a few residents who looked weary but willing. An underground resistance, born from fear and hope. Meanwhile, Gloria's watchful eyes seemed to narrow. Her attacks grew more personal. Tires slashed, threatening graffiti left on Alex's door, even a broken window in the dead of night. But with allies by their side, Alex felt a flicker of courage. At the next HOA meeting, Alex was ready. Armed with pieces of Mrs. Langley's story and carefully gathered evidence, Alex confronted Gloria subtly, hinting at the hidden past and the consequences of burying it in silence. Gloria's face twitched, but her voice remained icy, veiled threats dripping beneath her words. The neighborhood held its breath. Who would blink first? Who held the upper hand? Alex realized this was more than a fight for a house. It was a battle for truth, for freedom, for survival. And with Mrs. Langley's help, the shadows around Gloria's past were starting to lift, revealing a truth far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The night of the HOA meeting was thick with anticipation. The community center buzzed quietly, but under the surface, the tension was electric. Alex felt every eye on them as they stood near the back of the room, clutching a folder of documents collected with Mrs. Langley's help. Gloria arrived last, as always, perfectly composed. Her smile was sharp, polished, but Alex could see the flicker of something darker in her eyes. She scanned the room, stopping briefly on Alex, her expression unreadable. The meeting began with the usual agenda: landscaping violations, parking restrictions, complaints about noise. But Alex's heart pounded, waiting for the right moment. When Gloria opened the floor to comments, Alex stepped forward, voice steady but carrying the weight of truth. I want to talk about the real reason I'm here. Not the mailbox, not the flowers, but the fear that's taken hold in this neighborhood. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Gloria's eyes narrowed, the smile fading. Alex held up the folder. These documents reveal a past that Gloria has worked hard to bury. A history tied to espionage, surveillance, and secrets far beyond HOA bylaws. The room fell silent. Gloria isn't just our HOA president. She was investigated by the CIA. She was involved in covert operations that went wrong. And now she's using this neighborhood as a fortress to protect herself. A neighbor gasped. Gloria's hand twitched. Lies, she said sharply. You're spreading dangerous rumors. Alex took a breath. I'm not here to slander anyone. But we all deserve to know the truth, especially when it puts us at risk. Strange cars, threats, vandalism. It's all connected. Gloria's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. You don't understand what you're dealing with. This is bigger than you, bigger than any of us. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out, plunging the room into darkness. A wave of panic surged. In the pitch black, someone shouted, Get out! Now! Alex felt a cold hand grab their arm, pulling them toward an exit. It was Mrs. Langley, voice tense. We don't have much time. Outside, the night air was sharp and heavy. Cars idled in the parking lot, their headlights sweeping the perimeter like watchful eyes. We're not safe here, Mrs. Langley said grimly. Gloria's past isn't just history, it's a threat. And she has allies who want to silence anyone who digs too deep. Alex's mind raced. The neighborhood's peaceful facade had shattered completely. The battle lines were drawn and the quiet war was becoming a fight for survival. But even as fear clenched their chest, Alex felt something else. A fierce determination. They couldn't back down. Not now. Who else is involved? Alex asked, eyes scanning the dark street. Mrs. Langley shook her head. People who blend in. People who watch and wait. We have to be careful who we trust. The power snapped back, on inside the community center. Gloria's car screeched away, headlights piercing the night like a warning. As Alex looked back toward the building, the question burned hotter than ever. How deep did Gloria's network go? And what price would they pay for uncovering the truth? The answers were out there, hidden in shadows, waiting to be found. Days passed in a haze of unease. The neighborhood had shifted again, a fragile calm masking an undercurrent of fear. Alex knew Gloria's reach extended far beyond what anyone suspected. The question was, how far? Mrs. Langley had arranged a secret meeting in her modest home. The circle was small, just a handful of neighbors who dared to listen, to resist. Maps and files were spread across the kitchen table, illuminated by a single lamp. "There's more than just Gloria," Mrs. Langley explained, her voice low but urgent. "She's part of a network, a shadow web tied to agencies and operatives we thought were long gone." Alex's eyes widened. "You mean others in the neighborhood?" Mrs. Langley nodded. "Some have gone deep undercover. Others are ghosts, living quiet lives but watching, reporting, controlling." Suddenly, the phone rang. Mrs. Langley answered quickly, her face tightening as she listened. "They've found us. We need to move." Before Alex could react, the power cut again. Shadows swallowed the room, broken only by the faint glow of the phone's screen. A muffled crash came from the back door. Someone was breaking in. "Hide!" Mrs. Langley hissed, pulling Alex toward a concealed closet. Heart pounding, Alex slipped inside just as the door burst open. Footsteps thudded close. Voices whispered in a language Alex didn't recognize. Then silence. Minutes dragged like hours. When the coast was clear, Alex and Mrs. Langley emerged to find the house ransacked. Files were scattered, photos torn. The invaders had come for answers and left a warning. That night, Alex lay awake, the weight of danger pressing down. This was no longer a neighborhood dispute. It was a battle with forces invisible yet deadly. Days later, an unexpected visitor appeared at Alex's door. A man in a dark suit, calm but with eyes that missed nothing. "I'm Agent Matthews," he said quietly. "I've been monitoring Gloria for years. We know about her network and what she's trying to hide." Alex's breath caught. "Why contact me now?" "Because you're the one stirring things up. You've made her uncomfortable, and that's dangerous, but you've also exposed a weakness." "We want to help, but you need to trust us," suspicion warred with hope. "Could this stranger be an ally, or another piece in a much larger game?" Matthews handed Alex a small flash drive. "This contains information Gloria doesn't want anyone to see. Proof of her past missions, the betrayal, and her current surveillance." As Alex downloaded the files, images flickered on the screen. Coded messages, faces blurred but familiar, operations gone wrong. It was a puzzle, a complex web of espionage intertwined with the quiet streets of Maplewood Lane. But the most chilling revelation was a dossier marked Operation Nightfall, Gloria's last mission, a betrayal that had cost lives and left her a fugitive in her own neighborhood. Alex realized the fight was far from over. Gloria wasn't just an enemy. She was a survivor clinging to the edge of a dangerous past, and now Alex was caught in the crossfire. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying a warning. The shadows were closing in. Alex stared. At the flickering screen, the weight of Operation Nightfall pressing heavy on their chest. The files revealed a tangled web of espionage, a mission gone horribly wrong, a betrayal from within Gloria's own ranks, and a desperate woman forced to disappear from the agency's eyes. Now she'd built a fortress behind HOA rules, guarding her secrets with an iron fist. But there was one file Alex hadn't opened yet, marked simply Emergency Protocol. With trembling hands, Alex clicked it open. The screen filled with a video, grainy, yet unmistakably Gloria's voice, calm and measured. "I am Gloria Hendricks. If you are watching this, then the worst has happened. The mole I sought to expose has found me, and my cover is blown. Gloria's eyes searched the camera. No trace of the furious HOA president Alex had known. Instead, there was fear and a plea. This neighborhood is my sanctuary and my prison. The watch list is not just mine, it's a warning. There are people who will kill to keep the truth buried. If you find this, know that I never wanted to hurt anyone. I only wanted to survive. Alex's heart hammered. The line between enemy and victim blurred. Suddenly, a soft knock at the door startled Alex. Standing there was Gloria. Not the cold tyrant, but a woman worn thin by years of hiding. "I knew you'd find the truth," Gloria said quietly. "And I'm sorry for everything, but now it's time to end this for both of us." Together, they devised a plan to expose the mole who had betrayed Gloria and the agency, the real threat lurking in the shadows of Maplewood Lane. With Agent Matthews's help and Mrs. Langley's quiet network, they would bring the hidden enemy into the light. The confrontation came swiftly. A tense meeting in the neighborhood's community center, this time with law enforcement present. The mole was revealed, a trusted neighbor whose smile hid deadly intentions. As the truth came out, the neighborhood's grip of fear began to loosen. Gloria, once a figure of suspicion and anger, became a symbol of resilience and sacrifice. Alex and Gloria formed an uneasy alliance, their battle evolving into a fight to protect the community from the unseen dangers that had stalked it for decades. Tacto. Mailbox war was over, but the secrets it uncovered had changed everything. As the sun rose over Maplewood Lane, Alex looked toward a future shadowed by secrets but brightened by the hard-won truth. Because sometimes the fiercest battles aren't fought in the open. They're fought in silence, behind closed doors, and in the shadows of the past. And sometimes, even a HOA Karen can be a hero.